Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. CFC family, welcome to the annual meeting for Cottonwood Football Club. My name is Azar McMaster, I'm the president. We're very excited to meet with you. We recognize it's a little unorthodox for this meeting to happen this way, but we felt this would be the best way for us to be able to share an update concerning the club, a review of the past year and what's coming up. But we thought we'd first start with some introductions so you can meet the 9 people here on the screen, which is our board of directors.
I'll introduce the board of directors to you. We have Casey Amavor, who is our director of team management, Azar McMaster, our president, Heather Allen, treasurer, Chris Smith, assistant director of coaching, Tyler Tinling, director of coaching, Adri Soph, risk management coordinator, Tyler Toon, director of field and facilities management, Michelle Hinckley, director of social media, and I'm Julie Sabreso, secretary.
Thanks, Julie. So here's our presentation. For our annual club meeting. Again, the agenda, first we have some business to take care of concerning the board of directors. Then we'll do a review of the club over the past year, have a discussion around club fees and COVID-19, discuss the parent survey results that we took, that we had our parents fill out end of last year, and talk about the upcoming season. So at this point, Julie, our secretary, will take care of our board business.
The nominees for the Cottonwood Football Club Board of Directors positions up for election are as follows. Director of Social Media, Michelle Hinckley. Director of Field and Facilities Management, Tyler Toon. Director of Team Management, Casey Amavor. In accordance with Robert's Rules of Order, we have not received any other nominations for these positions. And as they are running unopposed, Michelle Hinckley is elected as the Director of Social Media. Tyler Toon is elected as the Director of Field and Facilities Management, and Casey Amavor is elected as Director of Team Management, all by acclamation. For your information, the following positions will be up for election in the 2021 Annual General Meeting: Director of Coaching, Assistant Director of Coaching, and Treasurer. Over the course of the year, nominations can be emailed to me at julie.sabresos@cottonwoodfc.org. Now our Assistant Director of Coaching, Chris Smith, will discuss CFC's numbers of years.
Thanks, Julie. With the growth of the club since we began in the 2014-2015 season. The red line that you're seeing on the graph corresponds with the left axis and shows the number of players we've had in the club each year, while the blue columns correspond with the right axis and show the number of teams we've had in the club each year. Our first year was 2014-2015, in which we had 6 teams and 80 players. Only one of those teams was on the girls' side. We're now entering our 7th year, and we have 32 teams, 20 boys teams, 12 girls teams, and we are anticipating having over 375 players register to play with us. To that end, as we look at the next slide, we are looking for some additional players. We have heard that there are some teams in clubs around the valley with only half a starting lineup. So we are hoping to be able to welcome some of those players to our club as time goes on here. On a side note, while we are looking for players, many of our teams are either not looking or perhaps looking for maybe 1 player at the most. A few of our teams are looking for more than 1 player, but already have enough to at least form a starting lineup with a backup plan of leveraging the other teams in the same or younger birth year to handle bench needs during a game, but that's the backup plan. The list that you see on the screen are those that are looking for more than 1 player. To help with recruiting, we're talking to other clubs about any teams that they may not be able to support for this coming year. We're promoting the needs on our social media, our website, UYSA's website, and would love any assistance you as our CFC families might be able to offer. If you're aware of someone that might be interested and be a good fit for us, even if they're in a different age group from the team you're involved in, please send them our way. And an email address for a great starting point is info at cottonwoodfc.org. While we do track our numbers, what we really get excited about are the moments that we have and the moments when we see a team or an individual thrive, not just in wins and losses, but also in doing things that make us proud to be part of the CFC family. Adria Soph, our risk management coordinator, Tyler Toon, our director of field and facilities management, and Michelle Hinckley, our director of social media, will share some of these stories. Adria?
So in collegiate and professional sports, there are these moments that are celebrated when a new player signs with a team. Our girls 08 Reds did their own version, as you can see in these pictures, by visiting the 3 new team members, one of whom lives in Park City, and presented them with their CFC practice tee and formally welcomed them to the club. We love seeing these signing days happen.
Thanks, Adri. That is awesome stuff to see those girls welcome their teammates. One of the other things that is kind of a highlight with some of the recent events with the COVID-19 and everything was an awesome recognition that we received from the UYSA league coordinator, Cindy Barron. And here's what she had to say about what she saw from one of our games this summer, from one of the friendly games. She said, "Hi, Azar. I just wanted to give your coaches and parents of the girls U15 Metro South Division a shout out. I happened to be at Canyon View Park in Riverton last night while they were playing and was impressed with how well the parents were complying with the social distancing requirements on the sideline. Great job. I was very impressed with your 2 coaches who were there with the team. They wore their face covering the entire game. I was hot. It was sweaty, but they were awesome at making sure that they were doing what was asked of them. Please pass this along to them. Thank you all for doing all you're doing as a leadership and as a club to help ensure that we get to continue to play. Regards, Cindy Barron."
That's so cool. This is a picture of our boys 04 Red team taken a couple of years ago. The team currently competes in D2, and last year we are happy to report that 10 players from this team made their respective high school team, including 7 at Brighton High School. Congratulations to all these boys.
And speaking of high school, we are extremely excited and proud that one of our own, Michelle Sadler, has been hired as an assistant coach for the girls' side at Brighton High School. Michelle will continue to be the head coach of our amazing girls 11 Red team. Congrats, Michelle. We're excited for you.
That is awesome. We're excited for Michelle and all the upcoming girls within our club that will eventually be playing for her over at Brighton or any other high school they go off to. Next, I'd like to talk a little bit about the teams that were promoted during the fall 2019 to fall 2020 season. First on the list, we want to congratulate the boys 11 Red team under head coach Zach Lancaster, assistant coach Travis Hopkins, and team manager Sarah Young. They took second place in Metro E. Congratulations, guys. Next on the list, we have the boys 10 Red team with head coach Nathan Shans, assistant coaches Bryn Bingham and Chad Zurinskas, and team manager Lori Walker. We're super excited for these guys. They took second place in Metro C. Way to go. Now we have the boys 09 White team with head coach Julie Larson, assistant coach Zach Lancaster, and team manager Denise Porter. They took second place in Metro C. We're super excited for this little team. Way to go. We have the girls Red team with head coach John Wilhelm and assistant coaches Steve Coleman and David Massinopol, and team manager Tara Boyce. They took second place in Metro. There is actually no other second team in that division, so they took the second place in that whole division for the Metro area. Nice work. And lastly, I'd like to highlight the girls 07 Red team under head coach David Massinopol, assistant coach Jackson Cannon, and team manager Jamie Nilsson. They did an awesome job taking first place in Division III, and we wanted just to highlight them. And you can tell by the smiles on their faces that these girls are just ecstatic about how they accomplished such a big feat during that fall season. Congratulations, girls.
So let's talk about our boys 08 Red team, who took first place in the bronze division at the President's Cup earlier this spring, but not without drama. The opposing team seemed to have taken a goal lead in the final that was subsequently ruled offside. And then the match went into penalties. Our boys only missed one penalty while the opposing team hit the post twice. Congratulations to our boys 08 Red team, and that is with head coach Jared Mathis, assistant coach Tyler Sabrisos, and our team manager Stephanie Ward. Also, want to talk to you a little bit about social media. Before I give you a little information, do me a quick favor, pull out your phones, open Instagram, and type in Cottonwood_FC into the magnifying glass search bar and follow us. In addition to Instagram, CFC is also on Twitter and Facebook, so if you have a quick minute, please follow us on those platforms as well. We post quite regularly on social media, and it's a great way to not only keep informed on any important announcements, but a way to see your teams highlighted from time to time. And sometimes we even do giveaways to our team apparel stores, so you won't want to miss out on that. We're also trying to expand our social media reach and would love to have all our teams have their own Instagram accounts. So coaches and team managers, if this is something you think you could take on, or even reach out to maybe one of the parents and see if they'd be willing to start a team account, it would be a great service to your team. We have several teams right now that have their own Instagram accounts, and I've heard from several parents and players that they love to see their kids highlighted and what they're doing. I also encourage you to send me over your awesome photos while you're at practices, games, team parties, or if your player is doing individual training at home. We would love to see what our players are up to so we can highlight them. We repost quite often, so if you could send me those pictures, that would be great. My email address is michelle.hinkley@cottonwoodfc.org. Thanks, guys.
Hi everyone, this is Heather and I'm the treasurer, and just wanted to have a discussion here about what our club fees go towards. So for those of you that have already registered this year, some are probably in the process of doing that, you'll notice that you pay some fees to UISA for state level fees, and then you also pay club fees that come back directly to Cottonwood Football Club, and pay for a number of different items that you'll see on the screen. Some are costs that happen, right after registration, early on in the summer, while others are more variable and happen more evenly throughout the year. But the largest categories of costs that those fees go toward are to pay our head coaches and trainers for summer training that is offered to every team and every player, and there will be some more information about the summer's training coming up pretty soon. Equipment to make sure that all of our teams have everything they need for proper training, and that includes as teams move up in age groups and may need larger balls or larger nets. We want to make sure that every team has what they need. Field rentals for games and practices, as well as payment for referees fees once season starts. Our team and club activities that can include team parties or team building events that coaches and team managers put together, as well as some of our club level activities, which in the past have included a club barbecue, or in summers where Butlerville Days happens, the parade is always a fun activity for everyone. So we want to make sure that every team has a budget to be able to do those fun activities together. We also make sure that every team has a Team Snap account, which is a great way to keep everything organized, to be able to communicate with the team, and also for, at the club level, for us to send communications out, and also to collect separate fees for indoor soccer and some of those items that are not covered in the annual club fee. We also have a scholarship fund and want to make sure that we have that opportunity available for players that need financial assistance. So There's a number of those scholarships set aside each year, and that's a great, something that our club does just to make sure that no player would, not be able to participate because of financial difficulty. We also offer a discount in fees for our team managers and assistant coaches. We appreciate everything they do for their teams. Also, the fees include your player's ticket to Real Salt Lake and Royals matches that we sponsor as a club, as well as some of the marketing that you've probably seen as you've been driving around Cottonwood Heights or around Sandy, where we have banners posted about the club and are able to send emails out through the Peach Jar system. And then, of course, we have general administrative costs, keep our website going, supplies throughout the year, and then we have payment to our board members. So for those of us that were with the club last year and got to experience the fun of COVID-19 and all the sadness of spring season getting canceled, we were able to refund about 25% of the overall club fees that were really related to referee costs, field costs, and then payments for coaches and our board members that we wanted to make sure to get that back to the families since the spring season was canceled. And in the event that this upcoming fall or whatever unfolds, given the status of COVID-19, we would fully expect to do that again this year. We want to make sure that we are really treating all of our finances with integrity and being accountable to every one of you as paying members of this organization. And so we do want to make sure that you get a portion of those fees refunded in the event that you're not able to have the experience that we're all hoping and expecting to have this year. So if you have any questions about any of those items, always feel free to reach out to me. My email is heather.allen@cottonwoodfc.org. Up next, Azar and Tyler Tinling are going to give us an overview of our parent survey from this last year.
Thanks, Heather. First of all, how great is this shot? This was taken at our Real Salt Lake match that we attended together as a club, and our players got to be on the sideline for warm-ups and things, and it appears as though these girls are enjoying the experience. We talk a lot about how we desire feedback from our parents as far as the experience that they're having, the experience that their players, their children are having in the club. And to that end, at the end of each fall season, we send out a survey to the parents and ask them to fill it out and answer some questions for us. We've been doing this for 4 years now. Here's an example of some of the questions that we ask, and you can see it's a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being they highly agree, 1 being highly disagree. And you can see here our scores across the 4 years since we have been taking this survey. And so Tyler will talk about the first couple slides, which address coaches, questions concerning our coaches and player development, and then I will address the last 2 slides, which talk about team manager and club-specific questions.
Fantastic. Thank you, Azar. And huge thanks and shout out to Heather Allen for pronouncing my last name correctly. That doesn't happen all the time. So Heather, that was big time. There's no tingling. There was no tinley. I mean, that was awesome. So this is great for me to be able to talk to you a little bit about our head coaches. My role in the club is to help our coaches help them with training plans or with anything that they need as far as their teams are concerned. I have a long background in soccer and played a lot and have coached now for quite a bit as well. So I love being involved with the head coaches and the assistant coaches in our club. I'm particularly proud. This is a survey that we started, as you can see, this is the 4th iteration of the survey. It was one of those things that early on, as I entered into the club, as far as being a member of the board, we really wanted to start to track our performance over time with the experience that we're providing for the kids and also for the parents and the families. So the first couple of slides are about our coaches. I'm very, very proud of the growth that you see here. If you look at 2016-17, through our most recent survey, you'll see a significant growth, and I'm really, really proud of that and proud of what our coaches do. On this slide here, in particular, the the piece of it that really speaks to me is our head coach is displaying behaviors and attitudes that you want your children to emulate. I take that seriously, and I've had many conversations, both positive and constructive, over the years, so that we can provide that experience. You can see the other things that we rate our coaches on as well. And then the next slide is also about our coaches. On this slide, again, you see the growth from our first iteration of the survey till our most recent. And on this slide, I'm particularly proud of the accessibility of our head coaches. As you can see, a 4.82 average out of 5 on the scale of I feel like I can talk to my head coach without fear of repercussions to my child's experience on the team. I want our coaches to be accessible. We do our very best to be that way. As you've met with your coaches during your initial team meetings, I hope that they've laid the groundwork for that accessibility so that you can talk to them about anything that's going on with your child's experience, particularly if they're having any challenges that you might know about that the coaches aren't aware of. Please reach out and share those with your coaches. We will do this survey once again after the fall season, and we'll continue to see where we land and see what we can do as a club and as a coaching staff to develop. One of those things that I would point to back to Chris's slide about the growth of the club. Since I started, we've seen a lot of growth even in the last 4 years, but we've never grown the club faster than we were able to support it. And one of the particular places that we need great staff to support growth is in our coaches. And we have had to have those difficult conversations in the past of a birth year that has enough kids and enough people, but we just don't have the right coach for that team to exist. And so we have to help those people find other homes. If you have any people that you know of in your family or outside of your family that are interested in coaching for a club that truly lives its values, lives its mission, we would love to meet them and perhaps have them join our club as part of our coaching staff as well.
Thanks, Tyler. I really do appreciate the work that Tyler and Chris have put towards this. We put them in place in between that 17 and 18 season, and they had an immediate impact on the culture within our coaching staff and the focus on making sure that we're helping players develop, making sure that they are approachable, and you see the results here. The parents are recognizing that, so I appreciate the efforts done there. Similarly, in our team managers, we do ask the parents to rate our team managers, and it's been something that we've scored fairly well on a scale of 1 to 5, but that our team managers are accurate and effective, and that they are also responsive to your questions and concerns, and have seen that number remarkably improve year over year. And a huge shout out to Casey Amovar, our Director of Team Management, and the efforts that she's done there to identify the right team managers, to train them, to help them and assist them, and so that they understand their role within the club and how an effective team manager can really create a fantastic experience, both for the head coach, because an effective team manager will pull administrative items off of the head coach's to-do list and allows the head coach to focus on the training of the players and team, as well as an effective team manager can make sure that the parent feels heard, can make sure that the parent is understanding what's happening, doesn't feel like things are sprung on them, feels like they understand what's going on and why. And so that's really important to our experience as well. So thank you to our team managers out there who do work so hard to provide a great experience with Cottonwood Football Club. And then we also ask these questions that are more specific to the club. And if I were to think about how the survey results look with regards to our head coaches, our team managers, and then club-wide, I feel like we'll have some focus on this last slide, where while we have seen improvement from 2016 to now, in all 3 questions, we did rate lower than the year before. So we do want to make sure that we care about your experience as well as your child's experience with the club. And we do want to make sure that you feel like we're approachable and that you can find us. We like to be at your games and matches, and so you can ask us questions or just get to know us better. And so we will have a bit of an effort towards that and over the coming year. So now Casey will talk to us a little bit about what's coming up next.
Thanks, Azar. So my name is Casey Amavor, and I'm the Director of Team Management. That means I get to support your awesome team managers with whatever they need. My family has been a part of CFC since 2015, and we just love it so much. So let's talk about what is happening in the next few months. The first item is keeper training. This will be a week-long camp with our keeper trainer, Logan Clifford, and we will have more information about the dates and times coming up. We're also planning on our Corver training to be in the first 2 weeks of August. Corver is a soccer training program that we have used for years, and this training is wonderful, and the players have a great time, and they always learn tons from those amazing trainers. What we do is we assign each team a week for this training, and we should have the schedule out shortly. We're so excited for this fall season to come. I don't know about you guys, but I missed watching soccer this spring, so I'm so ready for fall soccer to start. Academy usually starts after Labor Day, and the other team starts mid-August. Our schedules don't usually come out until the beginning of August, so don't get stressed out if you haven't seen the schedule. It's a pretty quick turnaround. So that being said, please help your coaches and managers by updating your availability on TeamSnap, which I'll talk about a little bit later. Parents, your next steps are to register for the 2021 season if you haven't already. If you are new to competition soccer, please send a copy of your child's birth certificate to the team manager. You can just take a picture of it with your phone and email it to them. All parents need to sign their participation registration form and get it to their team manager. This is such an important step because the team managers need a physical copy of these registration forms with them. If you have already registered and didn't print this off, please contact your team manager and they can help you retrieve it. The next item is uniforms. You can order uniforms at cottonwoodfc.org/uniforms. You will order a red and white top, red and white socks, red shorts, and a practice t-shirt. Make sure when you use the website that you use the coupon code on the homepage to get a discount in the amount of shipping costs. We also have a variety of apparel items that are available to support your team. You can order these at cottonwoodfc.org/apparel. There's some great stuff on there, so go check it out. And really important is please sign up for your team's TeamSnap account. Your team manager will send an invitation for you to join. This is the platform that we use to communicate with teams and how your coach and team manager will communicate times of practice, games, and events. And they even can send emails through TeamSnap. One important thing is to please update your availability for events through TeamSnap. It really makes the coach and manager's life so much easier. It's helpful for the coaches to plan practices if they know how many players are going to be there, as well as if they need to reschedule a game because not enough players will be available on the scheduled day. Finally, once we have the schedule out for summer Corver training, please update TeamSnap or RSVP to your manager for those dates so we can get numbers of who will be there. We're so excited for another year of soccer with our CFC family.
Thank you so much, Casey, and thank you to all of our team managers. As a head coach now for a few years in the club, I can't emphasize enough how important the role of the team manager is and how much I personally have relied on mine over the years, and just what great assets they are. I'm going to talk a bit about expectations. I'll do this in a few different phases or different parts. First, I want to talk about expectations regarding how we are managing as a club the COVID-19 pandemic and its effects here in Utah and on youth sports. I'll then talk briefly about the expectations of the players or the children in the club, the kids, expectations for the parents, and then finally expectations of our coaches. Under that umbrella of expectations, I'm hopeful that the majority of you that are listening to this have already had your initial team meeting with your head coach, and he or she has set some of those expectations with you as far as their own personal style and their own personal goals for the season. We do allow latitude for our coaches to share some of those things as far as their philosophy and their own expectations, what tournaments that they hope to be involved in, and those types of things. And if you haven't had that team meeting yet, you will. It'll be coming in the near future, and that's a great place for you to start to learn about your coach if you haven't, if you don't already know that person, and also to open up those communication lines that we hope stay open throughout the season. So around COVID-19, we have been monitoring this and basically adapting as a club and as a coaching staff throughout the crisis. And the way that we do that is we are in constant contact with UISA and their risk management team, who is providing guidance to us about what level of training and games are allowed and okay. They are in contact with the state health department and representatives there. And so we take our guidance from them. So initially that meant no training whatsoever in the spring. Then if you were with us, you realize, or you know, that it opened up to an orange level training where there was no contact and there was very strict distancing rules and things like that, even during play. And then finally we leveled at a yellow risk level, which allowed for more open training and a little bit less restrictive nature of those things. We will continue to monitor that as it goes. As many of you will already be aware that we are experiencing an uptick and a spike in those cases throughout the state. And so all of those organizations are looking at that and seeing what that means for them. Just know that anything that our coaches do will be within the guidelines that we have received from UISA, who have in turn received those from the state. If your coach, or if you as a parent or your child is uncomfortable with any level of play or participation based on that, please, we give the latitude, and we are very supportive of whatever level you can. Perhaps you have somebody that's at higher risk in your home, and so you can't participate at the same level that the rest of the team is. We support you. Perhaps you work in healthcare or something to that effect, and you can't coach at the same level that maybe the other coaches are. We support you. We want to be very thoughtful about that, and nobody will be negatively impacted based on their level of being okay or not with the risk or the level that we're playing at. But please know that we do follow the guidelines that are laid out for us by our governing body, UISA, which is evidenced by the email that Tyler Toon shared earlier. So briefly, expectations for players. We expect our players to have fun, enjoy the game of soccer. We are developing young men and women of integrity, not just soccer players. And so we expect them to handle themselves at training and in games with that integrity, with the behaviors that we would expect of anybody in any kind of setting where they're representing their team, their family, their club. We expect them to be at trainings and at games whenever possible. We know that summer months get really very hectic with a lot of different vacations and things like that. And so we definitely expect kids to miss things here and there. But if you're in town and you are healthy, we want you to be at your soccer activities. Your coaches expect that, and that's the way that you will get better and continue to develop yourself as a soccer player and as a person through this game. For parents, we expect you to be supportive of your kids, be incredibly positive with them. One of the greatest things I've read is one of the best things that a parent can say to your child that plays a sport is, I love watching you play soccer. I love watching you play fill in the blank. Kids take it pretty hard, wins, losses, goals, those types of things. Just be supportive and help them to have a positive experience with the game. There'll be different expectations based on the level of play. You might have different expectations from your coach laid out if you're in a D2 or a D1 as opposed to a Metro E or a Metro D. You'll have different things that they'll expect of you as parents. But what we want is for you to get your children where they need to go, help them, support them, be kind and thoughtful about how you do that with their coaches. We expect you to engage the coaches in a professional and positive way. if you have concerns, please bring them up, bring them to the attention of your coaches. They are, as you can see from our survey results, we're not going to be upset about that. We're not going to be angry that you may have a concern or two, but please talk to us about it so that we can help you and help you maybe understand what the thinking was or the reasoning was behind any decision that we've made. We also expect sideline demeanor to reflect the club's values and reflect what we're trying to do as an organization. That means not over coaching and yelling at your kid or other kids as far as what they should be doing or what they shouldn't. That's what our coaches are for. My best advice to parents on the sideline is to just cheer your hearts out for every good thing that the kids do. Be supportive, be proud of them, but do everything you can to refrain from telling them where to go, telling them what to do, or things like that, because they can get conflicting messages as they listen to the parents and their coaches. We also expect our sidelines to be positive and professional and supportive of all of our opponents, of the referees. Some of the things that I hear other sidelines saying to our kids, to our parents, to our referees is frankly appalling. And here at Cottonwood FC, I'm just so proud of the way that we conduct ourselves as a family at the games. A word briefly about referees. It's the coach's job to manage that relationship, manage the referees as much as they need to in a certain game. And please, as parents, please think of those referees as if your own son or daughter was out there being the one that's doing that. Oftentimes you'll have a younger person there than you might expect. And as a young adult myself refereeing, and I don't think I was too bad at it. I remember quitting after a couple of years, even though it was good money. It was something I enjoyed doing. But by the time that I was 16, 17 years old, I was just tired of getting abused by coaches and parents. And we need those referees to grow, to love what they're doing. And we need referees in the state to have our game. And so please be mindful of the way that you address referees. And I've never seen a referee change a call based on a parent reaction or anything to that effect. So please let our coaches do that as they need to. As far as expectations for our coaches, you can expect them to come to training, be there on time, be set up and ready to greet your kids, and to have a plan in their trainings. Those plans are developed based on the needs that we see in the games. And the honest truth is the place that your child will develop is in training, not in games necessarily. And the reason for that is the data says that in a game, maybe it's a 60-minute game, 2 halves of 30 minutes each, your kid will probably touch the ball maybe 50 to 100 times, and they'll probably have it at their foot 2 to 3 minutes of those 60. In training, we create an environment where the kids are touching the ball literally thousands of times, and they have it and they are able to play. And so our coaches are there to create that environment for where the kids can develop. Expect your coaches to be positive, expect them not to be punitive, not to punish kids with less game time because of something that maybe they weren't able to make to a practice because their parent got caught up at work or something like that. Those are the expectations that we place on our coaches. We expect them to be professional and to do their very best for these kids and to develop them as people and not just soccer players. You'll have your opportunity to share your ratings of those coaches at the end of the season, and we take that feedback very seriously. We share it with the coaches, and we do our best to work on that and become better each time. I think that's what I would like to share as far as expectations for the club. I know that's a pretty large, a broad umbrella, and so I would like to ask if there's anybody else on the board that has anything that I've missed as far as expectations that they would like to share.
I think we're just excited to see this next slide, Tyler, and have you talk about
you can't ask that question and then pop those pictures up, can you?
No.
So Azar asked me to share briefly a little bit about our love and our passion for the game, and I'll do that through a couple of experiences. So here's a couple of pictures. This is my junior year in high school. I grew up in Vista, California, which is just inland from Oceanside. If you're familiar with kind of the Carlsbad, Oceanside area, that's where I'm from. I grew up playing soccer there. In my junior year, right before this this special hairdo that I had, I had buzzed it completely. So I went from Azar's look to this in about 9 months' time. And this was at the end of my junior season. That's a yearbook picture there of me slide tackling a good friend of mine. His name's Jeff Scott, a good friend that I keep. And then this top one here is from a Facebook post from an alumni game from our San Diego State Aztecs. I went back and I played in an alumni game, and these are some really, really close friends of mine that played with me in college. I love this game. I'm passionate about this game, and I'm passionate about it not just because of the sport itself, but it's because of the relationships. It's because of the special things that it's brought to my life. And so that's what we as a club desire for these kids. We know that the great majority of them will not go on to play professional soccer, maybe college soccer. Perhaps they're not even interested in high school soccer. But as Michelle shared, many of our kids are able to make their high school team, and that comes from the development that they get with our club. I'm proud to say that on our girls' side, almost all of them that tried out for their high school team also made it as well. But we love this game, and we love what it can do for kids and families. I want to share just a brief experience about our accessibility and how this love of the game and the passion that we have kind of translates to your kids' experience. So we had a wonderful player in our club and parents reach out to us about a potential desire to play college soccer. And so Chris Smith and myself, knowing the player very well, said, absolutely, let's talk about that. And we spent about 90 minutes one night on a conference call with this young man and his father and us, and just talking about the pluses and minuses of, well, what do you really need to do if that's your goal? Or what are some of the things that maybe you're lacking still? And we were very honest and open in a very, very thoughtful, very compassionate, maybe is the right word. I'm not exactly sure, but really answering all these questions and spending the time. And I cite that experience as something that we as a club and the size of our club and the family nature of our club are committed to doing. If you've got a kid that is interested in taking their game or doing something with it that's maybe beyond where they're at, or that you want our feedback on how you might make it better, or what they can learn from, or how they can improve themselves, we're open. I've never seen a president of an organization as open to feedback and to conversation as Azar. I'm continually impressed by the members of our board and the way that when we have things come up that are sometimes very challenging conversations, everyone just jumps in and is willing to make that call, not send it in an email, make the call, meet you at Butler Fields, meet you in person at somewhere, currently physically distanced with a mask on or whatever needs to happen, but meet you in person, meet you where you're at, and do everything that we can to help you. And it comes truly from our love of the game and also our love of what we're doing for these kids and for our community. The coolest thing about the slide of our growth to me is not just the growth itself, but it's that we can have an impact on more kids' lives. And our goal is that impact be for the positive, that when they leave CFC, they've done so and they're better people because of it. So I'm proud of that. I love this game. I love what we were able to do with it. And I am very, very hopeful for a fall season. We'll continue to look at that and watch that. But it's a great joy to me to see Butler Fields filled with a bunch of red shirts as kids are out there training, or when I go there on a Saturday and every field is going with a CFC team playing against an opponent and just giving it their all and doing it in a way that makes us proud. It's a great place. It's a great family, and I couldn't be prouder to be a part of it.
Thank you, Tyler. And for the record, it would take me longer than 9 months to go from my haircut to what Tyler grew there his junior in high school. But when I co-founded this club in 2014, the vision, the hope that I had was perfectly summed up in that experience that Tyler just shared that he and Chris had with a player in our club. The ability for us to positively impact boys and girls' lives through sports was the experience that I had as a youth growing up in a different sport. My sport was basketball, volleyball, and my high school basketball coach is one that had a huge impact in my life. And I've always imagined trying to have a similar impact on the lives of boys and girls like that. And so I was grateful for the leadership that Tyler and Chris show in that. And as he pointed out, the entire board. And this team of 9 is so inspiring to me. And I love every minute I get to spend with them and with this club. And so for those of you who are coming back to us, thank you for coming back for another year. And to those of you who are new to us, welcome to the Cottonwood FC family. We use that word family very purposely because that is what we're trying to have here, is that familial experience where you know that as part of the CFC family, we take care of each other. We're here for you. We're here to help you. You don't ever have to apologize or be worried about approaching us, because as that experience with Tyler and Chris and the players shows, that we are very interested and very willing to make sacrifices and spend time to help to that end. So thank you so much for your time. We look forward to the upcoming year, and don't be afraid to chat us up when you see us on the pitch. Thanks all.